when Mary asked me to come and do this, I really had to give it a little thought and think about, well, what is it that I'm going to speak about? And Mary said, well, talk about your, thank you, talk about your business experience, talk about where you were and how you got to where you are today. It really started me thinking about all of those things. One of which was I graduated here in 1976, and the school is pretty much the same today as it was, believe it or not, back in '76. Although maybe back then there was a few more brothers teaching classes. But what I mean by that is, if I was sitting in your chair, I probably felt the same way you do today. And that is, when I graduate, what the heck am I going to do with my life? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Throughout my college career, I always worked in banking. I always had a job working either nights or afternoons in a bank. And so when I graduated, I said, well, I want to go into banking. I think that's where I want to go. And fortunately enough, at that point in time, there were a number of alumni that were in positions working at banks. And so I did get a job working for Greater New York Savings Bank, which no longer exists today because of all the mergers and acquisitions that went on. And I started working in a bank. And I worked there for about a year and a half and suddenly realized I was bored out of my mind. What am I doing here? This is not what I want to do. So I started talking to several people, and one of which was a gentleman who owned his own company. And it was a small company in the garment industry that manufactured dresses. And he said to me, why don't you give it a shot? Why don't you come work for me? And I said, well, wait a minute. I'm a graduate of St. Francis College. What am I going to do coming to work for you? And he said, well, you'll start here, you'll start to learn the business, see if you like it, you have nothing to lose, and you go on from there. I said, okay. I said, when do I start? And I started, and I showed up the first day, dressed as I normally would be for my banking job in a suit and tie. And I said, okay, what do I do? And he said, see that shipping room? He says, go back there, and you're going to ship dresses. And I said, again, well, wait, I'm a college graduate. What do you mean I'm going to ship dresses? I said, I did that when I was in high school and when I was going through college. And he says, well, you want to learn the business? That's where you're going to start to learn the business from the ground up. And that was my first introduction to becoming an entrepreneur. That was such a true statement that you need to learn a business from the ground up. If it means sweeping the floors, that's what you do. If it means negotiating a contract, that's what you do. So I worked for him for a number of years and then went to work for several other companies in the garment industry. And I grew into a position where I was a national sales manager for a fairly large dress manufacturing company. And then unfortunately things changed in the garment industry, and most of the manufacturing was being done overseas and retailers were buying things direct. So I again searched out to some friends and family and found a company that was in the direct mail business. And the gentleman that started this company was in Brooklyn. His business was in Brooklyn. And I went and interviewed with him, and I says, well, what am I going to do? If I come here, what am I going to do? And he said, I don't know. He says, but I think I need a guy like you. He says, because my business is growing. He says, and I need help to run my business, and I can't do it alone. And he was a gentleman that really started his business from the ground up. He started from his garage. That's how he started his little company, and it had grown over the years. And eventually he purchased a building that was about 100,000 square feet, and he needed help to run his business. So I got involved with him, and my first position with him was as a controller, because he needed to tighten up how he was doing business and understand all his costs. And I spent a number of years helping him do that, and eventually became the president of that company, because he wanted to retire and he needed to hand the business over to someone else. And I became the president of that company after about 13 years. And after another 4 or 5 years, we ended up selling the business. And after selling the business, I left and I bought into the company that I'm with now, which is a company called Prompt Direct. And once again, I went into a deal with, I have 2 partners, and they had started the company 35 years ago and became very successful, but they needed help. They were at that point where they needed to expand the business, and they needed someone like myself to come in and help market the business and have it grow. And that's what I did. When I first got involved with that company, we were doing about $4 million worth of sales, and today we currently do about $9 million worth of sales. So we more than doubled the company. And my specialty is in sales and marketing. But having said that, when you own a small business, you get involved in a lot of different things. And again, after talking to Mary and trying to figure out what it was that I was going to discuss today, I said, you know what? Let me try and write down everything that I do in a single day. So this is my interpretation of a day in the life of a small business owner. My day normally starts at about 8 o'clock, and I walk in after leaving my desk. I'll walk down onto the production floor and look at the work that's in progress, say hello to a lot of our employees. We have about 70 full-time employees. And this is on a Monday, and I would typically ask people, how was your weekend? What do you think about our Giants? Because I'm a big Giant fan. And get to know, everyone that's working there. Obviously, it's very important. When you own a business, it's very important. Your people are the key to your success. You cannot be successful without good people. Everyone in our industry pretty much has the same equipment. We all do pretty much the same type of work. But what makes the difference between a good company and a great company is the people that you have working for you. So it's important to keep those people happy, and it's important to really relate to them and have them want to work for you. So that typically happens between 8 and 8:30, and at 8:30 I usually get to my desk, answer a few emails, answer a few quotes. At 9 o'clock that day, I was on the phone with our loan officer because we're negotiating on purchasing a new piece of equipment, and we talked about some leasing options and some purchase options. At 9:30, I met with a group that works for me about a new marketing brochure with our creative team, because we're trying to come up with a new campaign to promote the company. At 10 o'clock, I spoke to a few customers who had either sent me emails or left me messages. 10:30, I sat down with our bookkeeper and reviewed accounts receivables. Of course, collections are so important to a small business. We don't have a lot of money that we can borrow, so it's very important to keep up on our receivables. At 11 o'clock, we normally have our production meeting, and we sit down with all our account managers and talk about the work that's coming in that week. At 11:30, I was on the phone with the post office. The post office in our business is a very strategic partner, very important to the success of our business. And I was on the phone with him, with someone from the post office, working out a particular problem that a client was having. At 11:45, reviewed some production issues with individual account managers, came up with some solutions. At 12 to 12:30, or at 12:30, lunch. I do have lunch, but during lunch, I sat with my partners and we discussed, what was going on that day, or what we had in front of us for the week. At 1 o'clock, I met with our HR person to discuss some payroll and personnel issues. At 1:30, I had a conference call with a vendor to discuss a new client project. 2 o'clock, made a few phone calls to prospective clients, because that's a big part of what I do, is trying to generate new work, new business. 2:30, went back down onto the production floor, saw what kind of progress we were making. If there were any issues with any jobs, I would get involved in trying to iron out the problems. 3 o'clock, another conference call with another client to discuss some new business. 3:30, met with our accountant, who happened to be in that day, and we reviewed last month's P&L. And that took about an hour's worth of time. At 4:30, reviewed bids and answered a few more emails and sent out a few estimates. 5 o'clock, I started reviewing billing for the day. Every day, all the bills that the account managers generate come into my office, and I review them. 6 o'clock, responded to a few more emails. 6:30, sat down, signed checks, approved bills. And that was a typical day for me. What makes that interesting is that if you followed some of the things that I talked about, I interacted with people on the production floor. I used some of my accounting skills in reviewing the P&L with my accountant. Went through receivables and if necessary, got on the phone, made some phone calls to try and collect money. Met with a group of people to talk about a marketing strategy on a piece that we were working on. And obviously a lot of customer service and sales interaction throughout the day. And that's what I love about being who I am. My day is never boring, it's always busy, and I do so many different things. And that's what's unique about being a small business owner or an entrepreneur. You need to be able to do it all, or at least have the ability to do it all, and know enough to guide people and to make recommendations to people. And that's what I find so interesting about our business. The next question that I asked myself was, why did I choose to become an entrepreneur? And I think a big part of that is I was influenced by the people that I worked for, and I saw how much they enjoyed to walk in the door and know that today, whatever I do, I'm doing for myself. I'm not doing it for someone else, I'm doing it for myself. And there's a sense of pride in doing that when you own your own business. As I said, it's never boring. I love people. I love dealing with people, either customers or my own employees. And sometimes dealing with your own employees can be more of a challenge than dealing with customers or clients. The next question I asked is, what challenges do I face being in a small business and being an entrepreneur? And that's a pretty tough question to answer. I think the challenge always is, what's the next great thing that's going to happen? Just so that I can stay ahead of the curve. If today I'm printing something, am I going to still be doing that next year? Or is it going to be digital printing? Or is it going to be mobile? Or is it going to be some other kind of communication that I need to stay abreast of so that I don't fall behind, so that I don't become obsolete? And I think that's one of the big challenges that we always face. And then there's the normal challenges. You know, insurance, healthcare today has become such a big issue with the small business. Obviously, you know, the news is all over the newspapers about healthcare and how it affects small businesses and individual people. And cash flow, as I mentioned before, is always a big concern, because when you run out of cash and that payroll comes around and you have to pay everyone that's working for you, there is no telling people, I'm sorry, there's no paycheck today. So that's always on the back of our minds, is to make sure that there's enough money coming in and there's enough billing going out to support the staff that we have working for us. Any questions? Anybody have any thoughts about what I've said so far? Okay. We're going to, what I did was I brought a video with me of, yes?
I want to know what you do on weekend to release your stress. About Monday.
That's a great question. I am very fortunate that in 1976, attending St. Francis College, I met my wonderful wife, who we are now married 35 years. And we have one grandson and one granddaughter who's on the way. So we spend a lot of time together because we were fortunate that we live close to each other. I love to play golf. Unfortunately, I've had a couple of serious injuries in the last couple of months. All of my old football injuries are starting to come back and haunt me. But I love to play golf, and I love to spend time with family. And you know, my wife once said, when I wasn't able to play golf, she said, if you find one more closet that needs a light and needs to be wallpapered, she says, I think we're ready to move. So I like to do things around the house, get my mind off things. A lot of times I'm working too. You know, the weekends don't mean you're off when you own your own business. You know, there's things that you finally catch up on. I try not to go into the office on the weekend, but you know, I'm reading, I'm catching up on what's happening in the industry on the weekends, yeah, that's what I try and do. You know, to get you definitely need that break. You know, I always tell all my employees who sometimes say, I have no time to take a vacation, and I say, no. If I take a vacation, you can take a vacation, and I strongly believe that, you know, time off is very important. Just to have that change of pace and come back fresh and ready to go. So I think if we could show this video, this is a video that we produced because our company about 2 years ago went through a transition.
Prompt mailers, as we were known for over 33 years, was always known as a quality shop, educating our customers on how to improve their marketing campaigns. So for many years, we would hold an annual conference teaching our clients the latest technology that's available to them.
I've had a partnership with Prompt Mail for the past 15 years or so. It's really developed over the years based on trust. Their attention to detail to ensure that the project turns out correctly is spot on.
There is certainly a need for traditional direct mail, and we can provide almost any type of traditional direct mail piece, something that is personalized, something that has multiple messages on it.
One of the biggest concerns for us with the direct mail is to ensure that it gets to the resident in a timely fashion. Prompt has a tremendous relationship with the post office and is very critical in any direct mail campaign.
We have strong relationships with the management and executive levels in Washington, various levels of local management, to make sure that our mail gets delivered on time.
I have to rely on them and their network within the post office system.
We look at a client's database and we see if the addresses are indeed valid. And if they're not valid, we do have the capability of fixing correct street addresses, bringing a higher return on investment to a customer's campaign just by doing address hygiene.
Prompt mail is very progressive. They're looking at new ways to change.
We are proud today to announce our new brand, and that new brand name is Prompt Direct. Prompt Direct is more than just a mailing company. It's a multifaceted leader in the industry with the ability to move forward and adapt to an ever-changing market.
The new logo is an image of an envelope that's open and pointing in a new direction. Today we talk about direct marketing as being a campaign, as being a process. How can they increase their return on investment by integrating various services into one?
Well, the changes that Prompt's undergoing right now, they're ahead of the curve.
As our clients evolve, we need to evolve, more focusing on the bottom line of any direct marketing campaign rather than just print a letter, seal it, and mail it.
Clients can expect numerous new services that they may not have ever heard of before. Things like Track My Mail, things like synchronizing messaging and using mobile as a device to respond to direct marketing pieces, integrating online solutions.
Direct mail can be the opening dialogue to starting a relationship with somebody.
If someone gets a direct mail piece and at the same time they get an email and then they open up their phone and they get a mobile message, all of these things can now be synchronized through us.
Traditionally, most mailers put out one response vehicle, and that may be in the form of a business reply card or a business reply envelope.
People no longer want to wait for responses. People want answers instantaneously.
Now we're offering a whole suite of channels and media types for people to respond to, such as print, email, web.
Using social media, things like Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter.
Or they can also utilize their mobile device, their smartphone, by snapping a QR code, which is commonly known as a quick response code. And that can bring you to a mobile optimized page instantaneously.
I've done several mailings with Prompt Mail that we've had the QR codes.
Another option is utilizing a personalized URL where a recipient can go onto their own unique landing page with information that's tailored to them and respond that way. So it's identifying how people want to be interacted with. And we have to build that intelligence into our database.
They can now not only learn about the people that respond to the campaign, but we can also learn about the other 90% or 95% of the people who don't respond, but that have shown an interest in the campaign.
Customer databases, that's the lifeblood of an organization. The value of dealing with a vendor who does everything in-house is security. To have the client feel safe with us holding their data, and that's key to making sure that all the processes involved are handled in-house with strict quality control standards.
Pieces can go out to a targeted audience with a targeted message and be personalized. Using data and demographics in the direct mail piece. We also have brought in the most modern technology as far as digital printing is concerned, so that we can change the images on the fly, we can have more variable images created on the piece, so that we're now talking to people rather than at people. All of these multiple channels allow our clients to go back and attack these customers once again to help increase their overall responsiveness for their campaign.
Out there in the industry, being leaders and not sitting back and waiting to see what the other companies are doing. And they take the time to really discover what the project's all about to ensure its success and go above and beyond for every client project.
We're very proud of that video, and we think it speaks very well for what we went through as a company. We saw that the printing and direct mail business was on the decline, and that we needed to do other things. We needed to bring in and learn about other medias and bring them together to increase customers' responses. You know, you may hear a lot about the fact that the post office is declining and volume is declining and direct mail is not what it used to be, and they're absolutely right. It's not what it used to be. But I received an article just the other day that I thought I'm going to just read a couple of lines from here that I think are very pertinent. Newsflash: direct mail can grow and achieve new heights as a marketing channel. It's easy to assume that direct mail will go the way of the dinosaurs and die out. But direct mail will be around until the very day that the post office service stops. In fact, it involves many marketers find that the response rates go up as direct mail becomes a way to connect with customers in a more personalized manner. As the digital world grows, it gets to the point where more and more customers ignore all the other various communications. When consumers are bombarded with messages on their phones and tablets and computers, eyes start to glaze over and ears tend to tune out. Marketers need a way to grab the attention of their targeted market, and incorporating direct mail does just that. Advanced technology also means that lists can be more segmented and clean. Every marketer knows that a bad list can torpedo a good marketing campaign. In the future, direct mail will be key in breaking through the barriers of message bombardment. It means bridging the gap between personalized, tangible marketing materials and other non-physical points of contact. It'll help create a seamless, multi-touch campaign that is not intrusive, but compelling and brand building, all while embracing technology as it advances. And we truly believe in all of those theories. The next, what I brought with me is a little PowerPoint that we use to present to customers, and I want to go through this with you. Yeah. We went too far. Okay. So multi-channel makes it better. Prompt Direct provides the tactical tools to improve direct mail response rates through coordinated engagement of online channels. As I said earlier, it's no longer what it used to be. The theory behind direct mail always was, if I mail enough, something's going to stick and I'm going to get a response, and that's going to be good enough. What we do today is we mail less, but we mail to more of a targeted audience, and we make the message more pertinent to that audience, so that the response rates will increase. It's not about lowering costs, it's about increasing response rates and getting a better return on your investment. And that's what we help our customers do. Prompt Track is one of the tools that we use. We're able to, through the post office barcodes, we're able to trigger other messages, because we can track the mail that's being sent throughout the post office and trigger other channels, other marketing channels. Triggers such as emails and mobile messages can all be synchronized. The idea behind a successful mail campaign is to have multiple touches so that, as I said in my video, you get a direct mail piece, at the same time you open up your phone and you get a text message, and then you sit at your computer and you get an email. When all of those things happen together, the message that's being sent out is a lot more important and gets a better response. As I said, we have the ability to make mobile optimize mobile so that when you open up your mobile device, it's easy to read. That's one of the services that we provide. The multiple channel solution, which automatically sends acknowledgments so that when someone does go to a landing page, we know that they visited the landing page and we can react to that by sending a thank you or sending another message to them to entice them to purchase. QR codes. These are very useful in our business. How many people here have smartphones? If you want, if you can take a picture of that QR code, you'll see that that actually works, and will take you to my contact information. And QR codes, although they haven't caught on very much here in the States, internationally they've been very, very successful. And there are places throughout the country, throughout the world, I should say, where QR codes are used instead of stores. People use QR codes to make purchases while they're waiting for the train to arrive to take them to work or to take them home from work. Obviously, we understand the importance of social media, and what's interesting about our business is how print can bring you and get you more interactive with social media. It enhances the media buys by knowing what social sites people are visiting. We're able to track that so that when we're creating a campaign, we know what's the best media to buy before you make that purchase. What's also important about that is the ability to share. As you all know, especially the younger generation, know how easy it is to share content, right? So to be able to send a message and then have someone go to a social site and share that really expands the audience by hundreds or even thousands of people. So a typical direct mail campaign that might be sent out to 100,000 people could really be expanded by hundreds of thousands of people by using social media. What makes life interesting for us today is that typically a client would send us their specs. We would quote it, estimate it, what it would cost to print, what it would cost to prepare it, and send it out, and we were done. Today, it's a lot different. We're involved in the tactical strategy that we're coming up with, and we create what we call a campaign roadmap, which is kind of what this indicates. And it's the what ifs, Well, what if somebody responds yes? What do they get next? What if somebody responds no? Then what do you do? And we create that campaign strategy with our customers, which again makes our business a lot more interesting than just sitting back and getting specs and quoting it and sending out the quote. We also help in setting up the business rules and making suggestions. Because we work with so many different clients, we're able to make suggestions on how to react when people do go to either a landing page or a mobile device. These are different reports that we're able to generate so that somebody can monitor everything that's going on with a campaign, whether it be off of the printed piece, or off of a mobile, or a text message, or an email, or a banner ad that's on a social site. We're able to track all of that so that they can make better decisions when it comes time to initiate the next campaign. This is, more of that type of reporting. Next. These, I think you got it. Next. No, the other way. These are, again, more reports, and go to the next slide. What's very important that we're able to do, and I mentioned this in the video, is in the past we only knew about people who responded positively, who maybe made a purchase or made a donation. But today we're able to give lead generation, which is so important in business, to our clients for those people who may have gone to the landing page, but the offer wasn't enough of an enticement for them to purchase. So what we're able to do is give reporting back to our clients to say, this person visited, but they didn't buy. So maybe the what if is, let's send them another offer, and let's entice that offer. It's like going in to buy a car, right? You go in, they give you the sticker price, and you say, well, I'm not sure. And then they come back and say, well, we're going to throw in, this option, and then you say, well, maybe, we could better the deal on the lease and give you better financing. So we're able to do that now in the print world by knowing who's showed interest in the piece. This is more of that type of reporting, and we talked about in the video immediate response. I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but sometimes you visit a site and all of a sudden you get a phone call and it's from that company. And they say, we know you have interest in visiting. And you say, how did they know that, right? We're able to track that. We're able to know who's visiting the sites, and we're able to create a reaction to that, whether it be maybe a phone call or maybe another extended email. But all of that reinforces and builds up the response rates for our clients. Again, this is more of the type of tracking that we offer, and it could be on multiple campaigns that we're working for our clients. We have some fairly substantial clients. Bloomingdale's, for the women in the audience. All the literature that you get in the mail from Bloomingdale's probably comes from us. We're responsible for that. We also do a lot of work for the theater and Broadway. All the offers that you get in the mail, offering you discounted prices. That's typically the type of work that we are involved in. We're able to track mail by destination. This shows you, which states in the country one of our clients may have mailed to, so that they can focus on certain states. We know when the mail is going to be delivered into those states, so that if they want to organize a telemarketing campaign, again, it's more targeted to know when that person is actually going to be receiving the mail. Again, this is we can zero down even further beyond the states and go into the cities and the actual individual post offices. And we can do lookups by individual pieces. So if someone wanted to know, did Dennis Lacognata get this piece in the mail, we can confirm that they actually got that piece. That's our contact number. We open up our doors to everyone, especially here at St. Francis College. Anyone that's interested in knowing more about our business, we'd be more than welcome to give you a tour and tell you more about what we do and how we do it. So, now it's your turn, because I'm not going to talk anymore unless someone asks me a question. Yes?
What was your degree in?
business administration with a minor in accounting. I hated accounting. You know.
Do you feel like what you learned in school is really applicable to what you do today, or was it kind of hands-on training that?
You know, what I learned here at St. Francis College was the foundation of what I used in business. A lot of the information, you know, calculus and some of those classes that I'm sure a lot of you hate taking, some of it never got used. But it's the overall foundation, the challenges that you face when you're in school, to be able to accomplish and meet those grades and pass that class and have the work ethic that you need is what's invaluable. When I attended here, we had a lot of brothers who were teachers, but we also had a lot of business people who were teaching classes. One of my mentors was a Dr. Wall, who I think at the time was the head of the business department. And he was a wonderful professor who I wanted to aspire to, because I had such an appreciation for what he did. He was in the real business, and a lot of the professors would bring that to the classroom. They would be able to talk about their daily experiences in a classroom environment and make it practical for what we were learning. Some of the best classes that I had here were the marketing classes, were terrific. Accounting, basic accounting, and you know, the accounting that I learned to this day I use, and it's invaluable. Also, one of the best classes that I took was public speaking class. I think the professor was Professor Doherty, I think it was his name, and he was a great professor and a great teacher, and it was that kind of a class that really helped me grow as an individual and learn from it. But when you get into the business world, that's when you really start to learn, I have to say. I was fortunate that even though I hated banking, after I got into it, I worked for some great people. Jerry Keegan, who was a graduate of St. Francis College, was a terrific mentor, and he brought me into the bank, and I spent some time with him and several other people who worked for the bank who were also graduates of St. Francis College. You just learn a tremendous amount from being around people like that. And then, of course, I was very fortunate to be exposed to some men who started from nothing, you know, really didn't have much of an education, didn't have much backing, but they had the drive. They had the drive to be successful. And I saw that, and I realized that that's really what I wanted to do. Yes?
Do you feel that like changing the name and changing your whole like rebranding to like Prompt Direct has like really helped with like social media and everything? And do you think like you're still working on it and you guys are going to stay relevant?
It's a great question. When we decided to make the investment, and it was a sizable investment for us to redo our website, to hire people to come in and do the video and rebrand all of our materials. It wasn't the flipping of a switch, and it's still not the flipping of a switch. All of a sudden, we come out and we say, here we are, Prompt Direct, we can do all these services, and the phone didn't automatically start ringing and people saying, oh, we want you to do that for us. It's still very much a challenge. There is so much competition right now in the business world. But because of that competition, that's why we saw the need to expand our services. So it is a work in progress. We have some clients who we've been very successful with. If you go on our website, There's some really good success stories of clients who have taken in the multi-channel approach and have been very successful at it. But we're also, challenged because business is so tough. What's happening in the last couple of years with us is, when I first started in this business almost 30 years ago, there was less options for marketing departments, right? Maybe there were 3 or 4 different options. You bought newspaper ads or magazines ads, you did direct mail, or you did TV or radio. Today, I don't have to tell you, right, how many different options there are for marketing dollars. So, and the marketing dollars hasn't grown. So they still have, marketing departments still have the same amount of money to spend, but now they have maybe a dozen different options. So the pie gets cut up, into smaller pieces, and that's a bit of a challenge for us. I feel it's my responsibility to, two things. One is, I have a responsibility, I feel every day I walk in the door, I have a responsibility to 70 people, right? I have 70 people that I have to keep busy because they're relying on me for them to earn a living. So that sense of responsibility I feel every day. In addition, it's very important, as I said earlier, to keep people happy and busy, right? You want to keep people motivated. And that's a big challenge, to find ways to motivate people and to challenge people every day. Even the people that run the machines for me, which is a very mundane work, to do. But you have to find ways to motivate them. And maybe, the ways we find to motivate them are, we challenge them. We say, well, yesterday you produced, on that machine, you produced 15,000 pieces. If you could produce 16 or 17,000 pieces today, we're going to give you a little bonus. And the reason why we want to give that bonus to them is because if that person produces 2,000 more pieces today than they did yesterday, I've made more money. I've become more successful. So we do try and challenge people. But more importantly, our company, my 2 partners and I, we're very hands-on operation. We get out with the people, we work with them. If there's a tough job going on in the shop that may require a lot of hand-holding and a lot of hand work, we'll get out there and do it. And they appreciate that. They see us getting involved. We're not just shoving it at people, we're working with those people. So that's one of the ways that we motivate people. Yeah?
I think we have time for just one more.
Okay.
Can I?
What's the best way to
Speak up.
the best way to obtain
I think by example and following other people and seeing how they accomplish things. I'm a strong believer in sports. My whole life was around sports. I played semi-professional football. I coached football, and I always use that as a good way to bring business together with sports. I think you always have to try and motivate people. Whether you're the quarterback of the team or the coach of the team, you have to find ways to motivate the players, right? And that's a lot, we do that a lot in business. We try and figure out, well, we have to motivate people. Sometimes we have rah-rah speeches, we get everyone together. We're strong believers in keeping people informed about what we're doing as a company, and we occasionally will bring everyone together and say, okay, here's what we're doing. Even though it doesn't affect you as an individual, it's important to keep people informed and make them feel part of what you're trying to accomplish.